I am telling you now, even with all of those videos, they do not do it justice as to how many books there actually were in every single one of those shops. I know it's literally a book town, but oh my goodness. I thought it would be useful for me to jump in here and give you some tips and pieces of advice if you're thinking about traveling to Hay-On-Wye yourself, because there are definitely things that I'm glad we considered and I would also consider for next time as well. And I also kind of just wanted to sit down and talk about some of my favorite shops that we went to and just have a little bit of a natter. Before I talk about the bookshops, let me show you what I got, because I was naughty and I bought some things. So the first thing I picked up was this really gorgeous tote bag. I just really liked the drawing on this one. I thought it was really nice. And literally, as soon as I walked into the first shop, saw it and bought it. And then I walked into a different shop and I got another one. I did buy it because I think I do prefer this one, because I love that it says may contain books, but it also still says Hay-On-Wye. But you can never have too many totes. They will both get used. And then I bought 2 books, which is quite surprising, but it's because 1, I didn't really want to carry too many books around with me, but 2, I also didn't want to spend too much money because I already have a lot of books. But my main mission was to complete my classics list of all the books that I wanted to buy. There's only 2 classics left that I needed to find, and I got both of them. So the first one was this really gorgeous edition, and I really can't wait to read this one because I've heard so many good things about it. But this was one of the books where I saw this edition, but then I wanted the whole of the collection. collection. I just thought they were absolutely stunning. And it's nice and pocket sized too. It's so cute. And then the second one I got was this hardback of The Handmaid's Tale. I've heard so many good things about this one as well, so I'm really excited to dive into both of these. So my goal this year is to read one classic a month, and these were the only two that I needed out of my physical TBR, so happy days. I definitely could have walked away with so many more books, but that's probably what's going to happen when I go back. In case you haven't heard of it, Hay-On-Wye is the UK's first book town, and it has over 20 bookshops. It's not just bookshops as well. There are also plenty of other independent businesses, music shops, craft stores. So I would definitely recommend checking them all out because they are incredible shops. And it is located pretty much on the border between England and Wales. We did drive there, which is definitely the recommended transport if you do have access to a car, because it just makes it so much easier to get to the car park. But if you do want to use transport, I did have a look and you can get to Hereford train station, and then there is a regular bus that goes to the town. So you definitely can get there even with traveling. However, I would just be mindful of your journey time, and I would recommend getting there as early as possible because you will underestimate how long you will probably want to spend in each and every bookshop. I remember the first bookshop we walked into, I believe it was Edinburgh Books, and I remember just looking around and thinking to myself, oh my gosh, if this is what every single bookshop is like, we are going to be here for so long. It looks like there would also be some really nice walks and little hikes you can go on around that area. So if that's something you're interested in, you might be able to have a look and see what's around. I honestly can't put into words how beautiful that little town is. It's one of those places that you go to and just think, I wish I could live here. It's just so peaceful. Everyone is so kind and so friendly as well. Like all of the shop owners are just really wholesome, welcoming and lovely. It's such a lovely place. The great thing about Hay-On-Wye is everything is so close because it's quite small. So we went for food at the cafe, literally across the road, and we were there, which is really good because if you do want to visit all of the bookshops, it's so nice to know that everything is within really close vicinity because it means you don't have to travel out too far and worry about taking time away to get to places. We went for food pretty much like the other side of the town, and I remember it took about 5 minutes for us to get back to the car park. That's how close everything seems to be. I honestly cannot put into words just how many books there actually are. There are books absolutely everywhere. Obviously they're all on the shelves, but then they have them stacked on top of shelves. There are piles all over the floor and they are on the stairs as well. This is probably gonna make me sound super nerdy, but I honestly cannot put into words how incredible it felt being surrounded by that many books. There is such a huge variety of brand new, secondhand and really old and vintage books as well. And most shops do actually allow you to handle the old books as well. You just have to ask. You are also not going to get over how many editions there are for every single book as well. Every single shop just has more and more editions of books that you just didn't even know existed. Most of the bookshops have folio editions, Chilton editions, which are the ones with the gold sprayed edges, and just so many beautiful illustrations editions as well. It's just endless. But it is so cool seeing all of the collections like as a whole and all together. They look so nice. In terms of pricing, it varies so much. There were some books I picked up for £4 to £5, some were £2, some were hundreds, depending on what kind of books they were. So it's really hard to say an average price, but there is bound to be a book that you will find that you will really like for the price. So we went on Saturday, which I would highly recommend, only because I think most of the bookshops are only open on Saturday. Having a look at some of the shops, they are closed throughout the majority of the week. So your best bet to go to as many shops as possible is on Saturday, and they are open all the way from about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning to 5 to 5:30 at night. So I would definitely recommend a Saturday. They also have the Hay Festival, which they host every single year, and that's normally about May time. But if you are interested in going to that, I'd recommend checking tickets early because I believe they do sell pretty quick. I don't know where everyone was, but it was so quiet when we went. Considering we went on a Saturday, it was a ghost town. And I'm not complaining because it pretty much meant we had every single bookshop to ourselves. I do think most people like to go in the spring and summer because I do think it is one of those towns where once everything's blossoming and it's a really sunny day, I think it does make a really nice place to go. And the morning that we went, it was absolutely chucking buckets. So I think maybe people were just put off by the bad weather and where it's still winter. But when we got there, the rain stopped. So we pretty much had every shop to ourselves. It was great. One piece of advice that I would give, and this is something that I would definitely make sure I do next time, is don't worry about rushing to buy a particular edition or a book unless it's literally the only copy that you can see, because you will be visiting so many shops where you might see other editions of that book instead that you might want to pick up. So I would recommend going and browsing all of the bookshops, and then at the end leaving yourself enough time to go back and pick up those editions that maybe you want to pick up. And I guess it saves you having to lug all the books around all day as well. I didn't do it with a book, but I did it with the tote bags. So I ended up going in one shop, seeing a tote bag, went into another bookshop and found another tote bag that I preferred. But I mean, I love a tote bag, so I'll use both of them anyway. And I didn't buy them, but I remember in one of the first couple of shops I went into, there was a really nice edition of the Little Women books. And then I went into another one and they had another edition again. So it just makes you think like, okay, I'm actually gonna have a browse and see what there is out there first. One thing I will say is if you do see popular books that are secondhand, it doesn't mean that they are going to be cheap. Again, being proper booksellers, a lot of them know the value of old books or really popular books. So don't get really excited like I did and then realize you're not going to be able to afford them. For example, I saw the Lord of the Rings trilogy in one of the windows, but they were like £450. It was just really cool being able to see your favorite books in different editions and actually being able to pick them up and have a look at them. It was just really nice. There is just something so special and so wholesome about being surrounded by so many incredible books, especially the older ones, because if you think about it, they have history, you know, they've been through the times. And don't get me wrong, not all of them, but the fact that a lot of them are so well preserved and, you know, you're able to handle them. I just think that's so cool. I'm also someone who really appreciates like architecture, and all of the buildings and little townhouses and obviously the shops around Hay-On-Wye just have really gorgeous structures, and it's like you're in just a completely different time when you're there. Honestly, it's such a gorgeous place. I would also recommend doing a little bit of saving if you are planning on going, because you are gonna want to spend some money for sure. I was quite surprised that I only walked away with a couple of books, but that is because I know for a fact I will be going again. And not only that, I am someone who really likes to try and get through my physical TBR before I buy more books. And the only things that I really wanted were the classic books. It's one of those places where I truly believe you could go again and again and again and find something new that you really want every single time that you go. We sadly didn't have time to go to every single bookshop that we wanted to go to because, like I said, we did get there a bit later than expected. But out of the bookshops we did visit, I would have to say my all-time favorite that I would recommend was Richard Booth's bookshop. It was the bookshop towards the end of video that was just absolutely huge. This was such a gorgeous shop. I did not want to leave. It's 3 stories and it's absolutely filled to the brim with absolutely hundreds and thousands of books. It's one of those shops that I walked into and was just stood there in awe because I just couldn't believe how beautiful it was. There were absolutely tons of aisles that you could walk up and down, every genre that you could possibly imagine. They had old books displayed in casing, private lounge areas that you could sit at and just enjoy the shop or read a book and just chill out. It was literally the perfect bookshop. The lighting and the atmosphere, the overall vibe was really good as well. I think it was the shop we spent the most time in because I was just appreciating the shop. It was just absolutely incredible in there. I absolutely loved browsing all the different books they had, all the different editions that they had and all the genres. I genuinely think I went up and down like 4 or 5 times to every single floor because there was just always something else that I wanted to look at. Even the stairs were really nice, but I am one of those people that just appreciates every tiny thing and makes out like everything is incredible. What can I say? I'm just a really appreciative person. Overall, it's just such a stunning place, so many incredible books, and well, what's not to love if you're a book lover? If you do have the opportunity to go, please do, because it is absolutely incredible. And that, my loves, is the end of the vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video and this was informative for you. Let me know in the comments if you have been to Hay-On-Wye or if you are planning to go anytime soon. I'd absolutely love to know. Have a great rest of your week and I will see you in the next vlog, which is going to be a really exciting trip to York and I cannot wait. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be fantabulous. Take care and I shall see you soon. Bye.